Hello, everyone. Well, I just got home from a date and I'm going to share my evening with you. And when I got home, I got my phone out and I looked at the video that I uploaded earlier today. And you guys, I practically had tears in my eyes. I was floating higher, higher, higher by every comment that I read from my viewers, from my friends. Your comments mean so much to me. Your comments were so kind, were so loving, were so compassionate that I don't know what to say. Thank you isn't enough, but those are the only words that I have. So I really appreciate everything that I read. I was like floating in happiness. I was floating on happy clouds. So, okay, I want to share. I want to share two dates that I had. Now, tonight I had a date with a gentleman that I've been communicating with for a while. He lives a little over an hour away. Well, he came out tonight and we went out to dinner. So we met at the clubhouse and we chit chatted for a while. And then we decided to have dinner, not here, but at one of my favorite restaurants very close to where I live. So, oh my gosh, I'm tired. It's not even that late, but I'm tired. So we went to this restaurant and we had a lovely dinner, lovely conversation. He's really a nice guy. If he asks me out again, I would definitely go. And it was fun because he's really into music, and so he was in a band, and so we talked a lot about different bands from our from the 70s and so on. So it was a nice evening. Now, the other night I had a date, and I've had like 4 or 5 dates with this one gentleman. And when you get on a dating site, if you when and if you have an actual date with one of the people you meet, one date at our age equals to about a month or 6 weeks of dating, like in dog years. When you're older, you don't beat around the bush. You talk, you converse, you get to the point about what you're looking for. And so, if you have 4 or 5 dates with someone, that's like you've been going out with them 6 months in dog years. So I had like 4 or 5 dates with this one gentleman. So we went out the other night and well, it was just a comedy of errors, to put it mildly. He asked me to pick out the restaurant, the time, make reservations, which I did. Then he picked me up and we drove to the restaurant. We had a kind of 6:45 reservation. It took us like 25 minutes to get to the restaurant. And when we got there and when we parked, it was like a parking structure with a bottom floor and a top floor. The restaurant that we were going to was on the top floor. So we decided to park on the top floor, get out of the car, walk out to the restaurant. Well, come to find out, the restaurant was not where we parked. Rather, it was on the whole other side of the mall, I'll say. So, okay, so we didn't know that. I thought it was right where we parked. So we get out of the car, we walk. Well, it's raining. It starts raining. I don't have an umbrella, neither does he. I don't have a jacket, and so we're walking in the rain. And we come upon some people and we say, do you know where this restaurant is? They're like, yeah, oh yeah, it's down there. See down there. And we're like, oh, okay. So we start walking down there. Well, down there was a long way, the total opposite end of the mall. And it was raining. So I tried to stay close to the buildings where I had a little bit of an awning over me, but not really. He was walking like 6 feet ahead of me, which I did not appreciate. And so, I was walking. I had no shield of protection. So we get to the restaurant. I'm sopping wet. I'm freezing cold. Okay, we have dinner. I'm starving. We decided to split a full order of short ribs and an appetizer and salad. Basically split a meal. Okay, so when the meal arrives, it was like, nothing. And we kind of thought, what's going on? Well, come to find out, he figured out. They thought we meant to split a half order. So we really got a fourth of the order, half of a half. And and so by the time we ate our little share portion of short ribs and asparagus and salad, they did have wonderful bread, and had a cocktail. It was really fine. So after dinner, we were ready to leave, and I said, we got up, and I said I needed to use the restroom, and he said, okay, well, and now this is total miscommunication, evidently. And he said, okay, well, I'm going to go to the car. I'm going to go get the car. So after I left the restroom, I walked out of the restaurant, and there was a escalator right there. So I took the escalator down, and I had taken myself to the first floor of the parking structure where I could stand, and there was an awning over me, and I was not getting rained on. So I was stood there, I was waiting, and so finally, I don't see him. And so I text him and I said, where are you? And he was like, well, where are you? And so I said, well, I'm right underneath the restaurant where we ate. I didn't want to get rained on. So I'm standing in the on. I took a picture of it and I said, I'm right here. And I said, where you're parked, just go down to the first floor of the parking, and it's the total opposite end of where we parked. And so I didn't, like, I stood there, stood there, stood there. So I didn't hear, I didn't see him. So then the next thing I know, I text him and I go, well, are you here? Or, can you find me? So remember, we've been dating like 5 months in dog years. So he said, he says to me, I can't find you. And so I'm trying to, tell him where I am again. So long story short, he said, well, just, come get in the car. And I was like, I don't want to have to walk all that way in the rain. And he was like, well, it's not even raining or whatever. Well, it was raining. And so I had to walk across the parking lot, up this ramp to the top of the parking lot, and then his car was way over here. So by the time I got in the car, once again I was sopping wet, cold, and so he said to me something to the effect of, well, I can tell you're not a happy camper, something like that. And I was like, I'm not. Why couldn't you come pick me up? And he said, well, there was no reason to. I'm right here, and I couldn't find you, and whatever. Once again, it was poor communication. Okay, we did not talk the whole way home. And I thought, this is so stupid. So I said, well, are we not going to talk? And he said, I don't I don't like to argue, and I don't like the he I don't remember the word he used, but it was kind of like the another word for fighting. And I don't like the fighting. It's not how I roll. And so he took me home, and I got out of the car and I came in the house. And so I, and I mean, I'm not going out with him again, and I'm sure he doesn't want to go out with me again. But I think that I remember my mother and father. My dad would, if it was raining, my father would drop my mother off at the front door of the church or front door of the restaurant or whatever. And he would say, I'll go park the car and come and join you. If it was raining afterwards, they would walk out, and he would say, let me go get the car. I'll come pick you up. It was chivalry. It was what my dad did. And it would have been nice if he had done that for me. Let me drop you off where the restaurant is, and then I'll go park, whatever. I really think that it was just miscommunication, and I ended up getting wet, and I was cold, and I was upset that he didn't find me and pick me up. Okay, whatever. So all that to say, when and if you do start dating as an adult, it may not be a perfect date, and in fact there might be a little tussle, a disagreement, especially if it's your third or fourth date with the same man. So just, I guess I'm just putting that out there. That's what happened to me the other night. This was a gentleman that I really did like, and he seemed to have a cute sense of humor, and he lives fairly close to me. He was the age appropriate, but it just didn't work out. And so, that's part of the dating game. Once again, you guys, thank you so much for your awesome comments. Oh my gosh, my heart is so, it's like going, I mean, hearts are shooting out of my eyes onto you guys. Thank you. P.S. I love you. Mwah. Till our next conversation. Bye bye.